Well, the temperature here in North Carolina is starting to match the temperature inside the Orange County Sportsplex, but still a great afternoon for some college hockey. Chris Lehman with you in Hillsborough, North Carolina, at the home of your UNC Tar Heels, who are getting set to host the Panthers of High Point University. Well, the Tar Heels coming in 3 straight wins, dating back to the win over Duke, an 11-1 victory back on the 16th of October. And then it was a nice little break. Of course, some of you may have tuned in to the coaches show Behind the Bench with Jeff Volkman, myself, and Chuck Caton hosting that just a couple days later, and that was certainly something that you would want to check out if you haven't yet. Mason Regan, Chris Adamson joined us along with head coach Jeff Volkman. A great way to get to know this team a little bit better. We'll be doing that on a monthly basis, so stay tuned for the next episode coming up not too long before that Governor's Cup matchup on the 25th of this month. Well, the Tar Heels, as I mentioned, coming on a 3-game winning streak right now with wins over Duke, Elon, and then Duke again just last night. The last 2 contests have been tight ones. Now, Elon, not a bad team as they've proven so far this season. In fact, beat the Tar Heels earlier on in the year in overtime. It was a bit of a collapse at the end of that game for UNC, but they were able to hold strong with a 4-2 victory back on the 27th just last week. And then, of course, last night, just a 3-1 win over the Blue Devils from Duke University, but a win nonetheless. And UNC with 4 wins in their last 5 games, no losses. A tie against Charlotte back on the 12th of October, the only blemish there. But they'll look to continue that against High Point here today. Tar Heels in white will be moving right to left here in the first period. In purple, the High Point Panthers moving left to right. It'll be Patrick Kramer, the sophomore, to face off for UNC up against Tyler Calkins of High Point, and we're underway. Over against the benches, UNC controls. It'll be swung to the near side and banked in. And the corner picked up by Kaufman. He'll swing it around for High Point. Nobody there for the Panthers, and it's pushed right back in. Kaufman again, looking for somewhere to break out. A nice forecheck early here from UNC. It'll be stalled out, and they'll call a hand pass, as it looked like Kramer got a piece of it with the glove. And so the faceoff comes just outside of the High Point zone. Only 22 seconds in, but a good start for the Tar Heels. They got it deep and established a forecheck. If they can continue that, the chances will come against the netminder Eric Smith. Face-off advanced into the Tar Heel zone by High Point, but UNC takes control. Oliveira up the far side boards, swung across to the near side, taken on a hop off the boards by Gelatli. Can't corral it, and it's Kaufman for the Panthers. Gelatli knocks it away, loses his stick, tries to further it, but couldn't do it without the twig. Oliveira now. He'll be stalled out in the near circle. Loose puck picked up by the Tar Heels' Jesse Jacobs. Jacobs throws one at the net, wide on the near side, and it will rotate all the way out of the zone over at the far point. Taken control of by Richard. He'll take a step into the zone, tees one up, and it got deflected over the net and out of play. It'll be an offensive zone faceoff for UNC. 18:54 left in this first period. Still early, but it's been all UNC. In the first minute plus, they have not allowed High Point any room to get into the zone. And that forecheck has really made it difficult just to exit. Faceoff squirts out to the far side. It'll be controlled by the Panthers. Moved out by Devrin. He'll advance it into the zone. Poke to the center. Big hit in the middle of the ice. Will jar it loose, but controlled by the Panthers. Far point and a whistle. Looks like that one got out over on the far side blue line. And a face-off in neutral ice once again. Face-off won by High Point, but they can't control it for long. UNC moving forward. Up the middle, pass finds an open man in Regan, but he's dispossessed, and it's cleared out of the zone, where High Point will control. Down the far side goes Hollett. He'll clear it in. Bodies collide, and it'll be dumped deep. Douthit furthers it behind the net. Controlled by Jones for the far boards. Loose in the middle, up the Tar Heel zone, and now brought back out. Low shot sticked away by Smith to the far corner. Swatted out by Kaufman, who clears the zone, but not much further. Jackson Thomas gets a piece of it, and now UNC will retreat to their own end. Cleared out, but nobody there to receive it. Connor Devrin now for High Point. Moving it up the near boards, loses it to Thomas, who goes cross ice. Bad pass stolen away, and the Panthers in control. Far corner, they'll look to settle. Poke to the middle, bouncing puck ends up behind the Tar Heel net, swung around the boards, and to the near point. UNC, good pressure up top. It'll be stolen away and cleared out by Adamson. Move deep, around behind. High Point now in control. At the defense, Kaufman. He'll slide it out, but nobody there for the Panthers. It's all the way down, and icing will be the call. 17:15 left in the first period, and it's starting to shift a little bit. High Point establishing themselves, getting a couple of chances, couldn't get anything towards goal, but they were able to control deep in the Tar Heel end for at least a moment down there. So now it'll be Kramer to take the face-off. In the near circle, offensive zone to win it forward. Throws it on net, blockered away by Smith. And the loose change collected at the defense by the Panthers. Banked up the boards to Ben Reedy. He'll get it out into neutral ice, and in come the Panthers. On the near side, it'll be centered by Alley. But that puck will be poked behind the net, squirts out to Douthit, and he will cover for a face-off. Just 3 minutes gone here in the first period. UNC looking for their 4th straight win and their 5th in 6 games. They have had an excellent start to this season. And most importantly, they've had a strong start in conference play. That includes the 3-1 win against Duke last night. Shoveled in by Connor Devrin into the far corner. Panthers will possess, cutting to the middle. Dispossessed was Jack Jenkins. They'll fight for it again in that far corner. Once again, it's the Panthers coming away with it. Circling behind the net. It'll be swung up to the point. Looking for a lane to the net, not there, and thrown wide by Sean Egan. Again, it'll be trapped in that far corner. High Point gains control of the loose puck in the middle. Up at the point. And they'll look to get deep into the slot. A chance there, but no shot for the Panthers. Quick move in transition for the Tar Heels. In comes Gelattley, loses his edge. And now High Point in control in the near corner. Pass out to the middle, stolen away by Kramer. Tar Heels with it, only momentarily. And now it's brought out by Calkins for High Point. Calkins still in control, bodies a man off the puck and finds an open teammate in Ryan Henry. Henry to the middle, can't bring the puck with him. And the Tar Heel defense will control. Oliveira, errant pass to the middle of the ice, stolen away. A chance for High Point, but a nice back check by Kramer. And that stalls out the opportunity for the Panthers. Swatted back in at the near point by Calkins. Around behind, Daniel Jones will shovel it out. Knocked right back in by High Point. They've established a nice forecheck here, and they are suffocating this breakout for the Tar Heels. Once again, a loose puck in neutral ice, but the Tar Heels come away with it. Beeson, backhand pass in front, deflects off a body and wide. And the Tar Heels a chance to control. Shot from the point, tipped wide by Beeson. And UNC setting up the attack. Far side, Boyd, Zach Nodden. Shovel to the near side, Beeson in control. Throws it to the net off the side. Behind it's Regan. He'll be tripped up. They'll play on as High Point takes control. Moving out Michael Torr. Through the middle, has a man there. And it's furthered into the zone by Braden Hill, but doesn't get it much further than the blue line. A couple of men coming together and sticks flying as the Panthers do eventually get the loose puck deep, and they'll forecheck again. Jones having some trouble in the near corner, and we're going to get a whistle and a penalty. It looks like Jones will be called for the cross-check with 14:36 left in a scoreless first period. That's exactly what it'll be. So Jones, 2 minutes in the sin bin. And UNC will be the first to kill a penalty here. Kramer to take the face-off for the Tar Heels. Up against Jack Jenkins. We'll have a quick pause. And I think when we had that collision on the near boards earlier, I think something might have come off of a stick, some tape or something that they'll clean off the ice. Now we're ready. Face-off one backwards, poked to the point but kept in by the High Point power play. They'll set up on the far side, Devrin. Back to the near boards, Devrin up at the top of the umbrella, deflected wide on the shot. Egan got a piece of it for the Panthers but couldn't put it on goal. Now Carolina in control. Poked up the boards but not out. And finally carried out of the zone. The Tar Heels a chance to move forward and kill off some time. Kramer takes the rainbow pass on the near side and just dumps it back behind the High Point net. Collected by Devrin, and he'll inch up the far boards. Feels some pressure, switches it to the far side. Stepping in front, stealing it away. Oliveira moving in, down the near wing, throws it just wide of the far post, and it will wrap around and out, swatted right back in. And UNC doing an excellent job on this first penalty kill. 50 seconds gone on the 2-minute and fraction for cross-checking to Daniel Jones. Weaving through the middle, Kaufman into the Tar Heel end. He'll stop on the sideboards, looking to dump it deep, but he's clogged up. And finally forces it behind. Centering pass, knocked back behind the net. And the Panthers try to get it out, but they can't control, and it skitters out into neutral ice. Quick chance to move forward. Connor Devrin weaves through the defense, can't get to the net, and he'll track it down in the near corner. Devrin leaves it for Henry, who works behind. Around the boards for Kaufman. He'll advance down the far side. Knocked off the puck, and it's swung all the way out and down behind Eric Smith, who will stop it behind the High Point cage. Just 25 seconds left on the man advantage for the Panthers. Just under 13 minutes left in this first period. Still looking for our first goal. Devrin through neutral ice, cuts to the far side, has space in the slot. Wrist one just wide, and a whistle. And I thought I heard an offside call, but that would have come very late. And it looks like the puck just got deflected up out of play. It'll be a face-off to the right of Douthit in the far circle. Just 11 seconds left on the penalty to Jones. So if UNC can control here off the face-off, they might be able to spring him out of the box. But we'll see. High Point wins the face-off too well, all the way back into their own end. Smith going to have to come out. Pressure coming from Beeson, the penalty killer, who will force a freeze. And now an offensive zone face-off for UNC. Well, that's unfortunate for the Panthers. Ben Reedy just won that face-off too well. And all the way down the ice. That'll effectively kill off the penalty for the Tar Heels. 4 seconds left on the man advantage. High Point winning the face-off. Reedy in control on the far boards. Dispossessed by Beeson, who will swing it deep. And UNC goes to work on the forecheck. Near side Regan backhands it deep. In the near corner, Nodden putting pressure on the High Point defense as it swung around to the far side. Poking it loose is Regan. Spinning around in front, couldn't get the shot away as he's knocked off the puck, and the Panthers control at the defense. Up the near side, Ryan Alley gets it out for Reedy. Reedy through the middle, has a chance coming in all alone. The backhand shot is stopped and poked home on the rebound. They will signal a goal. The net came off the moorings. And hold on, it looked like the referee had signaled a goal. Let's make certain that that is the case. We might actually have a penalty on the play. Waiting to see if we get a call here. No, it looks like they will just say the net was off the moorings before that one ended up in. So we stay scoreless. And UNC catches a break. Even strength with 12 minutes to go in this first period. High Point dominating the faceoffs right now as they win another one in control in the offensive end. They'll battle back behind the net. Couple of players on each side. Coming away with it is Ben Reese. Reese to the near side. Moves it forward and out into neutral ice. Can't be corralled by Karen. And now that'll be reversed back out again by the Panthers. Wrist shot in, easily handled with the stick by Douthit. Wrapped around to the far point. Slapper padded wide by Douthit off the stick of Casivio. And High Point really starting to control the play here as UNC finally gets it out. Oliveira, chance looking in front, and a nice sliding play made at the defense by High Point's Connor Devrin. That pass from Oliveira is swatted out of the zone at the red line, dumped right back in on net has to be played by Smith. And High Point controls again. Devrin banks it up the near side, looking for Braden Hill. He gets it caught in his skates. Now Dakota Sexton dropped for Devrin. Devrin down the near wing. Into the zone, looking for a man in front, but that pass will be disrupted and stolen by Kramer. Kramer with speed down the near wing. Looking to the center, the shot off the skates of Kaufman. And it will deflect to the far side where High Point can break out and move through the neutral zone quickly. Down into the zone, Henry taking it all the way behind the net. He'll leave it in the corner. And UNC able to force it out of the zone. Another chance moving forward for Sean Egan. Egan wraps it around the boards, and it'll get out of play again. Looks like it was last touched by a Tar Heel offensive zone faceoff for High Point with 10:21 to go here in period number 1. Well, it's been a healthy start to this game. Both teams have had their chances to control play and defend. And right now, High Point has had the Tar Heels on their heels a little bit. Panthers win the faceoff again. Working into the far corner behind the net, still in control. Panthers moving it out, looking to the point, stolen away. Gellatley goes to the far side. And UNC carries it into neutral ice, wristed deep. And a chance to set up the attack. Gellatley spins one on goal, sticked away by Smith, knocked back to the near corner. Gellatley disrupting the breakout for the Panthers. And they'll have to switch to the far side. Scooped up by Egan. He'll advance it out. Centering pass, tipped away at the blue line and knocked back deep. Now it's Kaufman in control for High Point. Throws it off the boards. Gellatley there at the blue line to keep it in. Puck squirts loose to the middle. Kramer gets a touch to it. He'll control on the far side. Into the corner. Throws it in front. It's off a skate. And nobody can put it home. A chance to move forward for High Point. Down the far side boards goes Jack Jenkins. And he'll spin it around and back up to the near point. High slot, wrist shot on. Douthit makes the save, still loose in front. Scrambling for it, Douthit can't cover, but it stays out. Back behind the net, they'll battle for it. Tar Heel goes down, and we play on. Top of the far circle, Henry with it. Backhanded back to the point for Devrin. Devrin swats one towards the goal, hits the traffic in front, and deflects wide. Again in that near corner. High Point almost looking like they're on a power play here. Errant pass will alleviate the pressure momentarily. UNC gets a couple guys off on a change, but High Point trying to get in quickly. But a nice physical play at the defense by UNC. And they'll get it out once again, but they haven't been able to control out of the zone. Maybe a chance here, jumping forward Regan, but he can't take control of that pass, and High Point moves it up. At the blue line, it's stalled out, and Carolina clears it back down once again. Controlled by Devrin for High Point. Sidesteps a check from Regan, but loses control on the near boards. Regan now throws one towards the net, and he'll be knocked down after the play. Beeson on the near side. But it's getting a bit chippy between these two teams early. That hip check from Michael Torr, a tad late, but it will go uncalled. And an offensive zone faceoff because Torr did get a stick to the shot by Beeson as it deflected out of play over the net. Near circle faceoff for the Tar Heels. It'll be Ben Reese to take it, but he can't win it. Devrin moves behind his own net. Big hit up at the point by the defense of Daniel Jones, but he can't keep the puck in. And UNC resets. Oliveira floats one in. Devrin in front of his own goal. Knocks it back out, loose in neutral ice. They'll fight for it, eventually advanced in by UNC, but knocked right back out as Adamson couldn't control. UNC dumps it from the neutral zone down into the near corner. Puck hits a skate on a clearance, out into the middle of the ice, and poked out by Michael Torr. Now the Tar Heels will set up shop in their own end. To the far side, Oliveira banks it deep, and we've got an offside call coming as Karen was in a little bit ahead of the puck. And so the faceoff will come back out, and it looks like they'll put it in front of the UNC blue line. And of course, if that pass into the zone comes from behind the red line, which it did from Oliveira, that's the reasoning for the faceoff moving to the UNC blue line as opposed to your typical offsides, which just comes right out of your offensive zone. But once again, it's High Point controlling off the faceoff. Knocked away quickly, and the Tar Heels will move up the near side. Gillespie stops as he gets into the zone. High slot, finds a man in James, but can't get the shot away, and the Tar Heels get it out. Pardon me, Jacobs there had the chance. And he got it caught in his feet. Now another opportunity to move forward. Kramer sidesteps a check in the neutral zone. He'll advance behind the net. Finds Jacobs back around to the far corner. Kramer couldn't control it. And it'll be moved up through the middle of the zone and stolen away at the point. Moving in Gillespie, quick pass to the middle. Nobody gets the shot away. Right in front of the net, Jacobs and Kramer were there, but they couldn't get it on goal. 6:40 to go in the first period. Still scoreless between UNC and High Point. Pass on a change. Slides all the way to the High Point blue line. Or to be crowned by Egan. He'll bring it in. Moving to the near corner. Backhand pass to the middle. Nobody there to get a stick to it for either side. And it'll be cleared up the far boards by UNC. They'll force their way into the zone. Wrist shot right into the glove of Eric Smith. And he'll hold on. Regan just trying to get one on goal there. And it'll be an offensive zone face-off for UNC. Well, normally you'd think a face-off in your offensive zone is exactly what you want here. And it's not a bad decision from Regan to look for that, but High Point has been so dominant so far in the face-off circle that this might be an advantage for them, and they do win the face-off. Strong win by Calkins, and High Point clears it out, but not past the red line. In control for the Tar Heels, Daniel Jones. Moves it in front, and Regan can't get it on goal. Squirts loose to the point, and the slapper's high and wide off the stick of Jackson Thomas. Beeson on the sideboards, throws it in front, deflected by Regan, capped out on the post, and then poked in. But the whistle from the official here in the near corner came before Regan knocked it in. So both teams have had a goal called off here in this first period, and we stay scoreless. 5:51 to go in period number 1. As Calkins will take the face-off against UNC's Ben Reese. And it'll be one to the near boards. High Point in control. Devrin swings it up the side. And a lot of pressure coming from Reese, but he can't gain control. Jack Jenkins out. He'll advance into the Tar Heel zone. Wrists one in on Douthit, who knocks it down and covers up for a face-off. Well, neither team has been able to get into that danger area all too much, which is right in the middle from the hash marks down in. The slot area has been, I wouldn't call it vacant, but the puck hasn't gotten there much. Both teams have done a good job of keeping the play to the boards, to the outside, and not allowing too many opportunities in close. Once again, Panthers control off the face-off. They'll work back behind the net. Calkins can't control as he centers it in front, and UNC advances out. They gain the red line and dump it deep. Reese the first one in on the forecheck to the near side. Adamson pins it, but can't stop it, and it's dumped back out by Jack Jenkins. They'll fight for it in neutral ice. Calkins comes away with it for High Point. Dropped for Devrin. Nice poke check from Richard, who stalls out the attack, at least momentarily, for High Point, who get it deep into the far corner. Centering's pass stolen away and knocked out of the zone, where High Point retakes control. Devrin trying to weave through a couple defenders, loses the puck. Reese with it. He's dispossessed. Loose puck in the slot is knocked into the corner by Devrin and shoveled up the far boards. Kept in at the point by Richard. Throws it towards goal. Doesn't make it there. And now Devrin will lift it out. Down the near boards. Advancing in is Ben Reedy. Swings it behind the net. Nobody on the far point to keep it in. It'll be Michael Torin neutral ice. Back to the near side, gaining the zone and getting it deep was Devrin. And they'll fight for it in that near corner. Thrown back up the boards by the Tar Heels. Devrin keeps it in, and he'll move forward again. Throws it towards the goal. Blockered away in front by Douthit. Thrown towards the net. Just missed that far post. And High Point really controlling play as that shot right into the gut of Douthit will be swallowed for a whistle. Not the best placement on the shot there from Braden Hill, but he had a good look, and Douthit stood tall at the top of his crease. So 4:12 left in this first period here at the Orange County Sportsplex. Tar Heels and the Panthers still scoreless. Now we've got a quick pause So it looks like Tar Heel getting a spare stick. It's Kramer, I believe, coming in there. As Reese takes the face-off, wins it backwards. One of few wins in the face-off dot for UNC here in the first period. They'll get it out, and a chance maybe for an odd man rush. Floated to the middle, and just out of the reach of Gellatley, who swings it back in front, but the defense of the Panthers there to deny that pass, and it's cleared out of play by Michael Torr. The officials say it was off of a Tar Heel stick, so this face-off comes out of the zone. 3:54 to go in the first period. Both teams with their chances. Nobody has finished yet. One backwards by UNC. Jones backhands it forward. Gellatley can't get it deep. And the Tar Heels will have to defend. Move down the near wing. Jones misses the hip check, and into the corner goes Hill. Swings it in front. That pass denied and quickly advanced back out. Cross-ice pass taken off the boards by Kramer, whose shot deflects over the net, knocked back in front by Jones, and Smith is there on the near post to cover it up for another face-off. Just 3.5 minutes left in period number 1. And UNC starting to swing the ice back in their favor a bit here. They've had a little bit more zone time in the last 5 or so minutes. Seen a lot more face-offs down here as the puck's poked up to the point. UNC keeps it in. Beeson throws it in front, off a couple of skates into the far boards. The clearance is denied, and the Tar Heels keep it in. Poked back from the point by Beeson. And now Connor Devrin for High Point. They'll have to retreat to the near corner. Banks it off the glass and out, but Matt Richard there for UNC to send it right back in to the near corner. First man there is the Tar Heels, Zach Nodden. Back to the point. They'll guide it. It was defenseman in for Beeson. Moving in. Nice back check by Devrin as Beeson was closing in on goal. Devrin now again for High Point. Battling with Beeson. Gets it out into neutral ice, but the Tar Heels will possess. Richard pitchforks it down the near boards. Beeson swats it into the zone, and Kaufman comes up with it for High Point. He'll use the net to shield off a forechecker and set up the breakout. Now he'll switch places with Devrin to the near corner. Connor Devrin backhands it out of the zone. Can't find a teammate, and it's sent right back in by Regan. Deflection just missed wide. And a fortunate bounce for High Point as that caught Eric Smith, the netminder, off guard. Battled for on the near boards. They'll scrum, and the Panthers win that battle and get it deep. Douthit sets it on a tee for his defenseman and Kyle Oliveira, whose headman pass is stolen away. High Point once again in control. 2 minutes remaining in the first period. Still no score between High Point and your UNC Tar Heels, but a steal and a chance, and a trip will result in another penalty on UNC. I'll wait to see who it goes on, but some careless play high up in the UNC zone led to that penalty. And it'll be number 18, Graham Karen, going off with his first penalty. And assuming that the Tar Heels are able to kill it off, this will take up the remainder of the period. A 2-minute tripping penalty on Karen, and a second power play chance for High Point. Weak pass out of the reach of Kaufman. He's going to have to retreat back in front of his own net to collect it. And pardon me, that's Sean Egan, who will be pressured behind the cage. Kramer knocks him off the puck, but he's able to swat it back behind for Devrin. Devrin with it now for High Point. He'll streak up the near boards. Looking to gain the blue line and get it deep. He does into the near corner. Takes a check from Reese and maintains control behind the net. Looking to get it up high, can't do so. And will finally be shoveled out to the point by Ryan Henry. Knocked back to the hashes where Devrin will possess. Down for Henry. Back for Devrin. Slapper on the way, off a stick wide into the near corner. Back behind. High Point still in control. It's Jack Jenkins. Jenkins to the point. Devrin far side. His centering pass denied by Reese, and he will knock it away, but the Tar Heels can't clear. Loose in the slot. Getting a stick to it was Oliveira, but he can't clear it. Devrin with another slap shot. This one gets in on goal, and Douthit up to the task with 46 seconds left in the first period. 57 seconds left on the penalty to Graham Karen, so there will be a small carryover, assuming nothing changes here before the end of the period. As High Point controls, still working with the man up. 38 seconds left in the period. As it'll be worked back up, circling with it, and it's thrown out in front, knocked down. Egan, a nice decision just to throw that towards the net, but nobody there to finish. A couple of Panthers collide, and the puck will squirt loose to the far corner. A chance to pin it and kill some time for Beeson, and he'll do just that for the Tar Heels. He has 4 Panthers there who finally knock it loose. With 13 seconds to go, they'll have to move quickly. Ryan Henry weaving through the neutral zone, cuts to the near side, now back to the middle. And I'll have it knocked loose to the far boards. Jones there to pressure for the Tar Heels and get it out, and that should finish off what ends up being a scoreless first period. Both teams with chances, but the goalies on both sides, Douthit and Smith, are perfect through 20 minutes. 0-0 the score after the first period. We'll be right back here at the Orange County Sportsplex.
I'm Mason Regan. I'm a junior on the team this year. Check out our new website, unchockey.com. We have our team schedule, roster. We have a team store set up too, and we're a 501c company, so all donations are tax deductible. Come out and see us play sometime.
Tar Heel Newsbeat reports on the local stories in our town. Everything from sushi and BLTs to the makers and volunteers who are investing in making our town a better place to live. You'll find Tar Heel Newsbeat in the streaming channels section of your Roku.
News and weather for the untethered.
The reserves of Topo Organic Distillery in Chapel Hill, North Carolina comes 8 Oak Whiskey, aged with the heads already removed on 8 different chars of American and French oak. Topo's 8 Oak Whiskey, limited reserves at all ABC stores.
I'm Mason Regan. I'm a junior on the team this year. Check out our new website, unchockey.com. We have our team schedule, roster. We have a team store set up too, and we're a 501c company, so all donations are tax deductible. Come out and see us play sometime.
Tar Heel Newsbeat reports on the local stories in our town. Everything from sushi and BLTs to the makers and volunteers who are investing in making our town a better place to live. You'll find Tar Heel Newsbeat in the streaming channels section of your Roku.
News and weather for the untethered.
From the reserves of Topo Organic Distillery in Chapel Hill, North Carolina comes 8 Oak Whiskey, aged with the heads already removed on 8 different chars of American and French oak. Topo's 8 Oak Whiskey, limited reserves at all ABC stores.
Welcome back to the Orange County Sportsplex, where we've got 20 minutes in the books so far, scoreless between your UNC Tar Heels and the High Point Panthers. Quick start for UNC, did a good job breaking into the zone, establishing a forecheck, and making it hard for the Panther defense to break out of their own end. But eventually, after about the first 5 or so minutes, the Panthers started to move the puck out with a little better efficiency. They controlled it a little better through neutral ice, and they started to tilt the ice the other way. Now, there was a pretty good ebb and flow. We saw that move back and forth momentum-wise throughout that first period. But one of the bigger issues for the Tar Heels, which we've talked about on the past few broadcasts, is penalties. They took 2 this period. There will still be 11 seconds left on the Graham Karen tripping penalty when we start that second period. So a little bit of a penalty left to kill off for the Tar Heels, but they've done a solid job, both teams really defensively, of keeping the puck out of the middle of the ice and limiting those scoring chances. So the first team that's able to find their way to the middle and into that slot area and get some quality chances on Eric Smith and Will Douthit, that's the team that's going to gain the advantage in the second period. We've got just about 5 minutes left before we get the two teams back out onto the ice. We are scoreless after 1 period here in Hillsboro. Welcome back to the Orange County Sportsplex. A fresh 20 minutes up on the clock as your UNC Tar Heels get set for period number 2 against the High Point Panthers, and they will have 11 seconds of a tripping penalty to Graham Karen to kill off. One of 2 penalties the Tar Heels took in period number 1. And High Point, who really controlled the face-off dot in the first period, does so again, and they'll get it deep, but not much further than the high slot as the Tar Heel penalty kill finishes off that penalty kill. And Graham Karen back out. We're back to even strength. Thrown to the middle, and Smith looked behind himself for a moment, thought it might have squirted through, but will play on. I did get a chance to talk a little bit with head coach Jeff Volkman and assistant coach Ben Sizemore during the intermission about the play in the first period. been a little bit frustrated with the team's breakout as High Point has pinched, and you'll notice it here in the second. They pinch 3 guys over and clog up one side of the ice and stall out the breakout, and UNC just for some reason has been reluctant to switch the ice and go up the other way. That's been the biggest issue with the breakout, and now a pass all the way down the ice off the stick of Jesse Jacobs will result in an icing and a defensive zone face-off for your Tar Heels. And talking with Coach Volkman as well, he wants to see his team a little bit more aggressive in this second period. They got off to a great start, as we mentioned early on in the first period. They were assertive on the forecheck, and then they kind of backed off and sat back and allowed the Panthers to dictate the pace of play and move up the ice, particularly through the neutral zone. We saw Sean Egan and Connor Devrin kind of move through neutral ice at will. A chance here for Kramer. He'll gallop down the far side, stops at the hash marks, and throws a bad angle shot on goal, gloved down by Smith, and he'll hold for the faceoff. But this has been a relentless team, said Coach Volkman of High Point. They come in, they finish their checks, they don't let up on that forecheck. And that's a big reason that UNC has had trouble getting out with control. And now we've got an icing call on High Point. Ryan Alley of High Point going to protest that a little bit, but an offensive zone faceoff now for UNC. Only about a minute and a half gone in this second period. We're still looking for our first tally. It'll be Regan to take the faceoff for the Tar Heels up against number 4, Ben Reedy. We'll scrum for it in that far circle. It's knocked loose to the far corner where the High Point defense will control. Swung off the boards and out. This will skitter all the way down in on Douthit, who has to play it. And Oliveira controls for UNC. 4-man battle in the near corner. Couple bodies down on the ice, and High Point comes away with it. Back to the near point. Thrown in front, stick to the far corner by Douthit. Swatted off the boards and out by Beeson. He does it again. He finds Regan, a chance moving in. He's all alone. Regan shoots, and it's swallowed up by Eric Smith. A lot of pressure coming from behind on Regan. And it did look like we are going to get a penalty and our first power play for UNC. It'll be a slashing penalty on the Panthers. Number 6, Ryan Alley, going to the box. So 2 minutes up on the clock for a slashing penalty to High Point. And so UNC a chance to set up their first power play. High Point clears it out, 10 seconds in to the man advantage. Controlled by Daniel Jones. He's got space up the near side. Advances into the zone himself, cuts to the high slot, stumbles and loses control, and the puck pops out back in offsides. And we've got a face-off coming up in front of the Tar Heel bench. UNC, not the best start to this power play. 23 seconds gone. They haven't been able to get set up yet. And they'll try to do it here as the face-off knocked back into the far corner, and another penalty coming on High Point. It's going to be an interference call, and a minute and 33 seconds of a 5-on-3 coming up here for UNC. This is a big chance, and that's a big loss for High Point. Connor Devrin, who has been one of their better defensemen tonight, will head to the box on an interference call. Far circle face-off. One to the boards for Beeson, and UNC sets up the power play. Into the corner, Tar Heels will control. Rotating back behind the net with it is Mason Regan. Working his way up the boards. Finds Oliveira, swings one on goal, loose in front and cleared out of the zone. And we've got another penalty. Now it's going to be a UNC infraction. I believe this will be a trip. That happened in front of the net. Chris Adamson headed to the box, but that is 3 penalties in 47 seconds. And it will be a 4-on-3. There's going to be a ton of space on the ice. But Adamson with the trip. And we have already had more penalties this period than we did the entire first. 4-on-3, UNC with the man advantage for another minute and 5 seconds. And then it'll go to 4-on-4 before briefly becoming a 5-on-4 power play for High Point. Oliveira dumps it deep. Far corner, it'll be controlled. Back to the near boards. Oliveira again on the point. He'll get stuck there. And finally, work it deep. Swung back to the hash marks. Or it'll be shot by Beeson to Richards. Richards swings one wide on the ice. And UNC takes control, but they can't keep it in. Regan lost his balance and lost it out of the zone with just 30 seconds left on the man advantage. Down to the far corner, slapped back around. Held in at the blue line by Richard. He's going to step into a slap shot, misses wide, and it wraps all the way around the boards to Jones. Cross ice, he finds Beeson in front, pass blocked. Rebound loose, it's swatted on goal, and another shot taken by Beeson, and this will result in a bit of a scuffle down in front of that High Point net, as the Panther defense did not take kindly to that second swat from UNC's John Beeson. And now we'll have to wait and see if there are any other penalties that are going to go up on the board after that. I have trouble thinking that there wouldn't be anything coming from this. I would imagine we're going to get matching penalties. Beeson will head to the Tar Heel bench, so it looks like they'll just let that one ride out. Well, they haven't made a decision quite yet, the two officials now. And the Tar Heel, or in the High Point end, pardon me, talking over what just happened, trying to decide. But I would have to think you get Beeson for that late whack on Smith, as whether you want to call it an instigation penalty or just unnecessary roughness or something along those lines. And then the retaliation from High Point's defense would give you another one, and those two would just offset. That's my guess as to what they would do if they decide to do anything. But they haven't made up their minds yet, and the net does still need to be reset down on that end. One of the linesmen will do that now. And the officials are going to head to center ice. I think they are going to penalize at least one player from each side. Well, we still don't have a decision yet. Captain Kyle Oliveira, along with Jack Jenkins of High Point, talking to the two referees right now. 16-12 left in the second period, still looking for our first goal of the game. And if you're just tuning in, the Tar Heels had a 5-on-3 that would have lasted a minute and a half before a tripping penalty in front of the net that went on Chris Adamson that made it 4-on-3. Now we're in a pause because John Beeson cut to the net, and High Point's defense didn't like the extra hack he took at their netminder, Eric Smith. They knocked the net off in a little bit of a scuffle, and now the officials are going to give out their rulings, for lack of a better word, and Beeson will go to the box for UNC. I have not seen anybody go for High Point yet, but right now there's 13 seconds left on the slashing penalty to Ryan Alley for High Point. 41 seconds for High Point's Connor Devrin for interference. And then Adamson's penalty for the Tar Heels still has a minute left on it, and there will be a man sent to the box for High Point as well. It's going to be Cole Hollett, the defenseman. Who goes for High Point. I would assume offsetting minor penalties here for the two teams. And it should stay as a 4-on-3 for the moment. But assuming that that's how everything will work out, the way it should stand, those two penalized players in Beeson and Hollett should be in the box for 2 minutes, or up until 2 minutes. The next whistle after 2 minutes, I should say, is how long they will be in the box, as it shouldn't impact the number of players on the ice, and we should continue as we were 4-on-3, which will turn into a 4-on-4 and then a 5-on-4. And based on the number of players on the ice, that's exactly how it will turn out. So offsetting penalties on John Beeson and Cole Hollett of UNC and High Point respectively. And the other thing about this is you can't take another player off the ice for High Point. You can't play with less than 3 men on the ice. So that's how we will continue. 4-on-3 for another 10 seconds as UNC controls off the faceoff. Gelatly leaves it at the far point. Oliveira picks it up in the middle of the blue line. Slides it deep to the far corner. Gelatly cross ice. One-timer. Jones scores. What a finish. Tic-tac-toe passing. Oliveira to Gelatly to Jones. And I didn't see if it was still a power play for the Tar Heels when they scored. But they take the lead at 15:58 of the second period. And it now becomes a 4-on-3. So that penalty had expired. Or pardon me, it will stay 4-on-4. So the Tar Heels scored before the end of the power play, or right at it. They will determine that here. And again, I did not see the clock. The Tar Heels down at the opposite end from the scoreboard. So by the time I looked up, the penalty had been taken off. I'm not sure if it was taken off as a result of the goal or if it had expired before the goal was scored. It was close either way. But we are looking at 4-on-4 hockey right now. And they need to decide how much time should be left. And actually, if we go back and look, the alley penalty is the one that ended. 17:31 is when the penalty to Deverin was given out. So he shouldn't come out until 15:31, which means there's still another 27 seconds left on that penalty. So it should be 4-on-4 for 27 seconds, and then it'll turn into about a 20-second power play for High Point. As I go to look at it, that will not go down as a power play goal. I take a look back. That alley penalty came at 17:59, so Jones finishes just 1 second after the power play ended. But we will stay 4-on-4 for 27 seconds. Back at center ice. Face-off controlled by Kaufman for High Point. He'll retreat to his own end as the Panthers look to move forward. Down the near side, pestered by Kramer. And the Panthers get it deep. A couple of Tar Heels collide behind the net. It's Richard and Jones. They sort it out. Jones with the puck behind the net. He's being pestered and eventually gets it to Richard, who sends it right back. The High Point penalty has come to an end. 18 seconds of a man advantage here for the Panthers. They'll move forward on a 3-on-2. Shot blockered away from the far circle by Douthit. And High Point controls in the near corner. It's Egan back to the point. It'll be knocked out of the zone off the stick of Tyler Calkins, and that should finish off the Tar Heel penalty. Back to even strength as Adamson returns to the ice. Beeson and Hollett will remain in the box for at least another 45 seconds or so. Teeing one up, Kaufman has it deflected wide from the far point behind the net. UNC corrals up the near boards. They can't keep control of it, and it's swatted to the far side. Richard gets caught up in the boards. It'll be broken out in front, and it skips over the top of the net as Douthit looked to get his blocker to it. And UNC controls, they'll slow it down. Jones lifting one up the middle of the ice, but nobody there on the receiving end for the Tar Heels. It'll be controlled by Egan, who slaps it up the near side. Stolen away by Jacobs, and UNC looks to set up a forecheck. Reese in behind the net for UNC. Can't get control as Kaufman moves it up the near side. And it'll be sent up the middle by Calkins. He'll be finished off the puck, but it's lifted deep to the near corner. Still High Point in control. Ryan Henry knocked off the puck, cleared out, and it'll be a foot race, but UNC beats out the icing call. Near corner, centering pass, deflected out to the high slot, coming in Oliveira. His shot blocked by Egan, who slid in front of the defenseman. And a great play on what would have been a golden opportunity for UNC. Chance for the Panthers. Weak wrist shot, easily handled with the glove by Douthit as Ryan Henry threw one right in at his chest. And so with 13:42 left in the second, it'll be an offensive zone faceoff for High Point, trailing the Tar Heels 1-0. Sexton to take the faceoff for High Point up against Mason Regan for your Tar Heels. Regan wins it to Nodden, dropped back for Wieland. Around the boards, Beeson banks it out of the zone. They'll fight for it right around the red line on the far side. Oliveira gets the loose puck and sweeps it deep into the near corner. Couple of players there to battle for it. Regan forks it behind the net. It's stalled out there, sent in front off the skate of a Panther and cleared out into neutral ice. Cross ice pass, catches the boards on the far side. Tracked down by the Tar Heels. Near side, Beeson pitchforks it off the glass. Glove down and capped in by Alley, but only momentarily. A chance for Beeson. Wrist shot from the point. It's deflected off the glass and wide. Swung around. Jones on the far point can't keep it in. And it will skitter down into the UNC end. Too weak for icing. And the Tar Heels will be forced to play. Lifted off the glass on the near side. And out by Thomas. He finds Jesse Jacobs. Jacobs racing down the near side. Looks to center. That's deflected away. And High Point can't get it out. Back behind their own net. Panthers in control. Swatted up the far boards. And High Point does get it out. But they're having trouble keeping control. Down the far side, we have a hand up and another penalty coming against UNC. It'll be a hooking call. And High Point back on the power play, as it will be Jesse Jacobs going to the box. 12:24 left in period number 2. And we've already had a total of 6 penalties this period. But High Point, yet another power play. They are still empty on man advantage opportunities. And UNC does a nice job getting it out right off the start. But a chance weaving forward for High Point to set up an attack. Moving in is Henry. Near corner, works behind. Watched by Oliveira in the far corner. Give and go. Back for Egan. Give and go again. One-timer is fanned on and cleared out. Just 30 seconds gone on the man advantage. Out of the net to play it was Smith. And does a nice job of protecting it and then getting rid of it before he freezes it. And once again, High Point stalled out neutral ice. Kramer collides with a couple of Panthers and knocks it back behind the High Point net, where it'll be picked up by Tyler Kaufman. Up the far side, shoveled to the middle. At the blue line, it's Richards swatting it back. Kaufman again. Banks it off the boards for Jack Jenkins, looking to get it deep on the far sideboard. Stalled out at the blue line. Over half of the penalty gone now. Adamson in control. Stops at the blue line. Loses possession. Turned back out by High Point and moved down the near boards. It'll be stopped up at the red line. Ben Reese in control. Reese moving backwards. Cross ice to his own blue line. Back to the near side, Richard. And he'll just get it down the ice as it skips over the stick of Devrin and deep. High Point looking to move back out quickly with a little extra space on the ice. They're under 30 seconds left on the man advantage as Jones collects the puck behind his own net for the Tar Heels. He's got room up the near side. Lifts it up and out and down deep. That should finish off most of the rest of this penalty. Again, it was a 2-minute minor to Jesse Jacobs for hooking. Puck stopped up at the red line. It'll squirt loose and into the Tar Heel zone. Wieland with it at the defense. He'll wait out the rest of the penalty and now send it up the far boards. Angled to an open teammate in Nodden, but he got in ahead of the puck, and he'll be whistled for offsides. So 10:17 to go. UNC opened up the scoring A little over 5 minutes of play ago. Beautiful passing sequence as it went from Oliveira to Gelatli, and then back across the ice. Daniel Jones finished the one-timer. And that's where we stand, 1-0. Both teams have had some chances with a man up, certainly High Point with the most, and they have not been able to finish. A chance brewing for the Tar Heels. Cross-ice pass, can't connect, and the Tar Heels let that one slide by. Jones in neutral ice. Back to the near side, and Wieland will bring it in offsides. Didn't see a teammate down in the far side, down deep. And so the puck will come back out on top of the blue line for a face-off on the near side boards. Well, we have seen a bit more of an aggressive attack from the Tar Heels as they've gotten in quicker on the forecheck, and it's made it difficult for High Point to get out of the zone. I think you still want to see a little bit more discipline. Some careless penalties taken by the Tar Heels that are continuing to give High Point chances to stay in this game. Regan up the near boards, misses Nodden, and this one will slide all the way down the ice, and it will get down for an icing. So it comes back in front of Douthit for another face-off. And that's another thing that we've noted, and something that will become a bit more of a bigger deal towards the end of this game, assuming it stays close. But High Point has been dominant in the face-off circle. Now UNC wins that one. A Karam off the near side defenseman, and a chance brewing. Thrown in, blockered into the slot. Still loose there as they fight for it. The Panther defense clear it back to the point. Nice sliding play to keep it in by Oliveira. He'll force it into the corner far side. Hollett sends it back up the boards. It deflects to the middle, and the Panthers get it out. They can't control it into the zone, but it will get deep, and back behind the net they scrum for it. Macheska to the near boards for Egan. His pass to the middle of the point misses its intended target, and Michael Torr has to track it down back in his own end. Torr circles behind the net. He'll bring it up the near side. Knocks it off the boards, finds a teammate who furthers it in. And that's Macheska. Still back behind the net. A chance with space on the near side for the Tar Heels to get out. Jesse Jacobs looking across, puts it on the tape of Gelatli, who tracks it down on the far side. Back to the middle. Kramer can't get a touch to it on the near post, but another great chance for UNC. They'll keep it in. Swung deep by Jones. Worked around to the near boards and sent back up and out as they lift it out of the zone. And another penalty coming on UNC. And well, we'll see, as there's a bit of extracurriculars in the UNC zone after that play. We're going to get a high stick on UNC. We're also going to get a penalty on High Point. We'll see. There might be a second penalty on the Tar Heels. Right now, it's Jones going to the box and Kramer. So they will get both of them. One will be a high stick. One will be an interference call. But those are two bad penalties to take if you're UNC. You can't have these mistakes here in a game like this that's been so close, and you would expect with the way that it has worked out that it will stay close. But we'll have offsetting penalties for Richard and for Ben Reedy. But it will be 5-on-4, another power play for High Point, and eventually you got to think they're going to put one home. Nice stick up at the point by Gelatli. He'll swat it out of the zone. Kramer on the forecheck trying to create an opportunity. Gelatli there as well, but they can't get it deep, and High Point turns it back. Right through the middle of the neutral zone. It'll be carried in, stalled out at the blue line, but shoveled deep by Calkins. Now it's Devrin shielding the puck. He'll wrap it behind the net, where it'll be scooped up by Tyler Calkins. Calkins dispossessed. Oliveira throws it off the glass, and it deflects out and down the ice. A nice chance in, and Devrin stopped. Rebound off the pad of Douthit. And two good chances in front for High Point. They'll hold control in the near corner. Working out to the point, Ryan Henry. His pass knocked out of the zone. Henry will track it down and retreat into his own end. Circling back in front of the benches. Cuts to the middle. A couple of Tar Heels there to knock it loose. Ben Reese backhands it up the ice. Can't get it very far. Not A lot of mustard on that one. And High Point in possession again. 45 seconds left on the power play. Moving in Devrin. Looking for a shot. It's not there. Sends it to the middle, and it deflects wide. And it's pitchforked back down the ice by Ben Reese. And a chance for a change for the Tar Heels. They'll get a fresh set of forwards on the ice as a pass sent all the way up, deflected off of a Tar Heel and into their own end. So that will negate the icing, and it's cleared all the way back out. Regan has a chance. He's the lone Tar Heel and the lone player down behind the net. He was behind everybody, didn't have a chance to get in front, but he'll circle with it. Just 13 seconds left on the penalty as UNC controls. And they'll stall out the rest of the man advantage as High Point brings it in. The penalty expires. We're back to even strength. On the near side, it'll be controlled by the Panthers. Ryan Henry looking to the middle. Pass stolen away. Graham Karen will race out with it. And he'll get it deep. Karen still in control. Looking to swing it out in front. Pass denied by Devrin. And he'll use the net as a prop to get it out. Move through the neutral zone. Odd man rush, but they're offsides. Kaufman came in just slightly early, and that will stop play. The other two penalized players out of the box, and Richard and Reedy. And so a face-off just outside of the Tar Heel zone, 5:48 to play in the second period. Kramer tried to win it forward. He was denied. Back behind the net, Jones sends it around looking for Richard. Jacobs there as well. He'll come up with it for the Tar Heels. Throws it into the middle. Bodied down by Casivio, but he can't control. Kramer moving back, looking to get around Egan, but a nice stick from the High Point defender shuts down that chance. Jones crosses the red line. He'll flip it deep, but again, getting in front of it was Sean Egan. And he knocks the pass down, forced to retreat. Now a chance for the Tar Heels from the near point. Patted away. Another chance from the far side, knocked away by the pad of Smith. He's had to be on his toes, thrown on goal again, and the rebound covered up by Eric Smith, who was up to the task, had to face 3 or 4 shots there in sequence. A couple on each side, moved nicely and stayed in front of the puck. So an offensive zone face-off for UNC here. In the far circle, Reese to take it for the Tar Heels. And they've got to start winning some of these face-offs. And now we'll get Panther booted from the circle. Connor Casivio comes in to replace, and Reese wins the faceoff. Back to Oliveira at the point. Wrist shot deflected into the near corner, and the Tar Heels will control. Back up the near boards. Thrown from the point by Whelan. Couldn't get it to the net, and it's backhanded out by the Panthers. Big hit in neutral ice, and we've got a penalty coming immediately. And Graham Karen is beside himself. He can't believe that he was whistled for that penalty. But it'll be, it looks like an elbowing call. And if anything, I thought you would call that a charge. But a 2-minute penalty to Karen, his second of the afternoon. And yet another power play for High Point. So the face-off to the left of Will Douthit, and the Tar Heel end. UNC controls off the face-off, backhanding it out, but not much further than neutral ice Oliveira. And High Point quickly moves it back in, poked away and cleared out at the blue line by Gelatli. And the Tar Heels putting on a little bit of pressure on this penalty kill. They've done a good job of disrupting High Point, particularly when they're a man down, and not allowing them to get anything established in the offensive zone. High Point does get it in now. Good stick of Kramer. And he'll take it away and clear it out to center ice once again. Off the boards and deep for High Point. Into the far corner. Quickly to it. Gelatli clears it back out. Stopped up at the near blue line and kept in. Egan advances. Gelatley knocked down as the official got in the way, and that'll let High Point keep it in the zone. Top of the far circle, wrist shot into the glove of Douthit, who came across to make the stop. And we're about halfway through the man advantage for High Point. And they've got 1:04 left on it, 3:53 left in this second period. This is the 5th power play for High Point, still looking for a goal. Loose in the slot, coming away with it. Beeson, he'll lift it down the ice, and it hops into the near corner, where High Point's defense will chase it down. Tyler Kaufman behind his own net. Up the near side boards. It'll be sent across into open ice on the far side. And then cross ice again, looking for Tor. That connection wasn't there, but High Point picks up the loose puck anyways. Now a chance to set up in the offensive zone. Just 35 seconds left on the man advantage. Shot from the far circle. Stopped by Douthit, and he'll cover it under his pad as the Panthers poke away. The two teams will posture in front of the Tar Heel net after the stoppage, but a nice job by Douthit. Had to look through some traffic on that shot from the far circle and was able to knock it down and then find the rebound. 3:18 left in the second period. 29 seconds left on the 5th power play of the game for for High Point, pardon me. But the UNC penalty kills worked hard, and it is shown. A battle on the near side boards. Panthers come away with it. Sent deep behind the net. That'll be corralled by Jack Jenkins, and another penalty coming up. This one looks to be on High Point, and it will be a trip with 3:02 to go in the period. Jenkins headed to the sin bin, and in 13 seconds, the Tar Heels will go on the power play. Well, and with the penalty, the faceoff advances down in the offensive end for UNC. Kramer can't win the draw against Calkins, who wins it into that far corner. And it's cleared up the near boards, kept in at the point by Jones, thrown off the back wall, and they'll fight for it behind the net. High Point has more manpower there, and now we've got another whistle. And I don't see an arm up for a call. And again, seeing down into that corner can be tough at times. I would imagine either a high stick or a hand pass is what stopped play here for High Point. And another offensive zone faceoff. Won by the Panthers into the near corner. Shoveled around by Egan. Kept in on the far blue line by Jacobs. Down along the wall, he gets it back at the middle of the zone. Kramer again, far point. Down into the corner. Tar Heels looking it over. Gelatley back up top, Jacobs to the near side. Nice movement here from the Tar Heel power play. Looking to center, that's denied. Back in front, blocker down by Smith. Loose in the near corner, and it will be swept up into the netting. This looks to stay in offensive zone faceoff for UNC. With 1:16 to go on the penalty for a trip to Jack Jenkins. Kramer to take the draw for UNC up against Calkins. Calkins has done an excellent job, but he won that one too well off the boards. Tar Heels control. Reese knocked off the puck momentarily. Gets it back, looking to work it up to the point. That option's not there. Leaves it for Kramer. Centering pass off the skate of a Panther to the far side. Still Tar Heel possession. Into the middle. That pass denied again. Sent back across, and they can't connect one more time. Cleared out. And the Tar Heel power play resets with just under a minute left on the man advantage. Gelatley splits the defense, gets it deep, leaves it for Kramer on the far side. Looking to work behind with it, Kramer still in control. Into the near corner. Cycles back, centering pass, again denied. It'll be Devrin taking control, stalling in his own end before he lifts it up and out. 25 seconds left on the man advantage, just under a minute and a half left in the period. UNC leading High Point 1-0. Brought into the zone by the Tar Heels. Beeson, he has it knocked loose, and the High Point penalty kill pokes it out, still working it forward, and this should finish off the Carolina power play. Oliveira collects it, circles behind his own net, slides one to the near side. The pass finds Regan, who has it knocked loose, gets it back, and just pitchforks it out of the zone. Swept right back in by the Panthers, and they weren't aware the penalty was over. This is going to be icing, as Tyler Kaufman wasn't paying attention to the scoreboard and sent it in from the UNC penalty box area. So 53.4 seconds left in the period. UNC working at even strength again against High Point. And they'll win the faceoff. Adamson drops it back to Oliveira. Tried to poke it back into the zone. That didn't work, and an odd man rush coming for High Point. Down the near side. It's centered off the stick of Douthit, who knocks it back to the corner. Everybody back for the Tar Heels, and they'll move out again. In transition, 3-on-2. Regan down the near wing. Sweeps it in front. Loose puck in front of the cage, and nobody there to finish it off for UNC. A battle in the near corner. Circling back behind, Michael Torr in control for High Point. Forces it up those far boards, but not out. And now High Point gets it into neutral ice. Once again, Jenkins moving forward. He has it knocked loose at the blue line near boards. Macheska knocked off the puck. Richard comes up with it at the defense of UNC. Backhanded up the far side, spinning to receive the pass, Jones. He'll chase it down in the far corner, sent to the middle, a chance for Jacobs. Thrown on goal, and it's knocked down by Eric Smith to keep it a one-goal hockey game after the second period. Well, a beautiful strike early on in the second from Jones, from Gelatly, and Oliveira, the difference maker right now. A lot of penalties, but no power play goals. 1-0 UNC after 40 minutes.
I'm Mason Regan. I'm a junior on the team this year. Check out our new website, unchockey.com. We have our team schedule, roster. We have team store set up too, and we're a 501c company, so all donations are tax deductible. Come out and see us play sometime.
Tar Heel Newsbeat reports on the local stories in our town. Everything from sushi and BLTs to the makers and volunteers who are investing in making our town a better place to live. You'll find Tar Heel Newsbeat in the streaming channels section of your Roku.
News and weather for the untethered.
From the reserves of Topo Organic Distillery in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, comes 8 Oak Whiskey, aged with the heads already removed on 8 different chars of American and French oak. Topo's 8 Oak Whiskey, in limited reserves at all ABC stores.
Welcome back to the Orange County Sportsplex here in Hillsborough, North Carolina. Chris Lehman with you now after 40 minutes of play. It was a wild second period, a total of 11 penalties between the two teams, and it has been a rocky power play on both sides. A combined 0 for 10, 0 for 4 for your Tar Heels, 0 for 6 for the High Point Panthers. So both teams going to be looking to try and shake things up when they get a man advantage opportunity in the third, which certainly seems inevitable as we've seen a total of 13 penalties called throughout this game so far. But we did finally break that tie. The Tar Heels just over 4 minutes into that second period. A beautiful passing play at the center point. It was Kyle Oliveira. Looked to the far corner for Matt Gelatly. Gelatly had a wide open Jones in the near circle, went cross ice for the one-timer, and a perfect finish from Daniel Jones gave the Tar Heels that 1-0 lead. But again, a little bit too much of undisciplined play, a lot of penalties. As we mentioned, 11 between the two teams in that second period. Particularly UNC going to be looking to clean that up in the third, and that's what we're going to look for. If UNC can stay out of the box and continue to pressure offensively, they should be in good shape for those final 20 minutes. We'll find out how that goes in about 5 minutes. They'll be back and ready to go for the final third period. 1-0 UNC over High Point here in Hillsborough. Just 20 minutes left here at the Orange County Sportsplex. Chris Lehman with you as the UNC Tar Heels get set for the final frame against the High Point Panthers. The difference right now, a Daniel Jones goal that came just after a 4-on-3 power play had expired. On the story of the game so far, penalties. 13 combined between the two teams, 11 in period number 2. And it'll be interesting to see if we see an adjustment to the calls from the officials. They certainly wanted to get the game under control. It was a little bit out of hand, not overly aggressive, but certainly a couple of scuffles happened post-whistle that I think the officials wanted to crack down on, and that resulted in 4 of those penalties. We had a pair of matching minors on each side, but still, you take those out, 7 penalties, and the two teams have combined 0 for 10 on the man advantage. We're ready to go here in the third period, moving right to left, your Tar Heels in white, in purple, High Point left to right, and a quick whistle. And it looks like a hand pass is going to be the call, and it happened just inside the High Point zone, so an offensive end face-off for the Tar Heels. It'll be Reese up against Calkins on the draw. That'll be squirted to the near side, controlled by the Panthers, and lifted up and out. Icing waved off in the far corner. It's tracked down by Richard. He'll pin it up against the boards for UNC. And a scrum ensues. Pulled loose by the Tar Heels and brought up the far boards. Heavy hit coming from Jack Jenkins to knock the puck loose. And now Devrin will get it in for the Panthers. Into the near corner. He'll lose an edge as he gets it in front. And Douthit went down. And the puck was there, but nobody for High Point could get a stick to it. Moving forward, plenty of space for Richard. Sends it into the near corner. Taken on a hop by Graham Karen. He sent it back up the boards looking for a defenseman at the point. But there was nobody there. All the way back down, it'll be picked up by Oliveira. He'll go cross ice, and it's lifted back in by Karen. Pinned up against the boards on a clearance. Karen gets to it, and he'll pressure Michael Torr, who pokes it back behind the net. Official gets stuck behind the net with it. And UNC's Patrick Kramer a little bit upset that he couldn't get to the puck there. Kaufman with it for High Point. He's got space to skate it forward. Across the red line, loses control, and now the Tar Heels move it back up. Weaving forward. It's Gelatly who wrist one just over the top of the crossbar. And it's saved on the near side point. Gelatly spins one out in front. Nobody there in front for the Tar Heels to put it home. And the Panthers get it out of the danger area for now. And neutral ice, Oliveira swipes it in. Kaufman at the blue line for High Point, lifts it out. And he lifts it out of play. And High Point trying to make a change, but per ACHA rules, if you lift it out of play and you're a defensive end, you don't get that option like an icing call. And so it'll be another offensive zone face-off for the Tar Heels. Regan to take it for UNC up against High Point's Connor Casivio. And Casivio wins it back. Tyler Kaufman retreats behind his goal. Sends it up the near side. Beeson there to stop it up. Sends it in front, tipped by Regan, but it hits the side of the net. Back out to the near circle. Beeson's shot off the blocker of Smith. Long rebound collected by High Point, and they'll get it out to center ice. Collect the defense by UNC. Circling back, Jones feels the pressure, sends it across off the boards, and it'll be swatted forward by Nodden. But UNC can't get any further with it. High Point at the red line, near side, backhanded to the middle, and deflected down the near boards and in. Dakota Sexton giving chase. It'll be swiped around by Jones to the far side. Pushed out, but not quite out of the zone. Saved in nicely by Reedy. He's knocked off the puck, and now the Tar Heels do move it up and out. At the blue line, wristed in. Directed into the near corner by Smith, centered by Beeson. Couldn't connect with Nodden. Still loose in the slot. Reese gets a stick to it, but couldn't direct it towards goal. And a 2-on-1 coming as Devrin gets back. Oliveira back-checking. Nice job to disrupt that chance. And it'll be deflected into the corner by Douthit, where they will scrum for it. Back to the point. Kept in by Egan to the near post. Sent on goal, but he can't put it home. A great chance for Ben Reedy. Egan again at the point. Douthit didn't see it, but it misses the post on the near side, and UNC gets it out. Couple of good chances there for High Point. Wristed in by Beeson, glove down by Smith as he'll angle it to a teammate in Egan. Dispossessed, sent out in front, but that pass denied by the Panther defense. Stepping up at the blue line. Nice play made by Adamson to keep that in. Karen leaves it for Adamson in the near corner. Steps away from a check, gets one shot off. His rebounds into the chest of Smith, and he'll get a glove to it And Freeze for the faceoff. 16-14 left in period number 3. Just one goal separating these two teams as the Tar Heels lead 1-0 on a Daniel Jones goal early in that second period. Came just over 4 minutes in, and we're approaching that point now. Face-off won by the Tar Heels. Reese back to the point. Wrister from Oliveira knocked down in front off of Reese. It'll be banked off the glass. Trapped down by Reedy and knocked out. We'll battle for it along the near boards at the High Point blue line. Reese forcing his way into the zone, has some help, and he gets it deep. Kaufman now in control for High Point. Wraps it around the boards and up to the point on the far side. Swatted back in by Richard behind the net. Reese looking for a teammate in the far corner, but it's stolen away by Kaufman, whose stick breaks, and he'll have to head to the bench. Gaining the red line and dumping it deep is Ryan Henry for the Panthers. Douthit sends it back up those far boards as he collects behind the net. Richards reverses play to the far or to the near side. And UNC trying to find a lane out. We talked at the beginning of that second period about how High Point likes to clog up one side and force you to switch from side to side. And we can see a little bit more of that coming from UNC here later in this game. Centering pass stolen away by Oliveira. He's got room to move out through the middle of the neutral zone. He'll cut to the near side, dumps it deep and avoids a check as he chases behind the goal. Swatted back up and out down the near boards. It'll be collected by UNC's Kramer. His pass off the stick of Jesse Jacobs into the near corner. Devrin swings it out. He has nobody on the near side to get a touch to it, and icing will be the call as UNC gets yet another offensive zone faceoff with 14:47 to go in the game. And you're starting to see High Point. I was counting out the players that were on the bench, but they're a couple of guys short of your typical 18 skater roster coming into this game, and it seems that they're a little bit tired now. And the near corner, it's collected by Egan, and he'll sweep it out. This one again misses everybody, and again will be icing. So this is a chance for UNC with a little bit fresher set of legs out there to take advantage of some tired Panthers who have been out for 2 icing calls now. Kramer to take the face-off up against Tyler Calkins of High Point here in the near circle. Knocked to the boards, controlled by Gelattley, throws it off the shin pads of Calkins, now gets it in front, poked to the middle by Smith, who couldn't control it into the corner, but nobody there for the Tar Heels, and it's cleared out by High Point. Devrin looking to get it deep, loses at the blue line. Now the Tar Heels in control. A lot of room to move forward with speed. It's Gelattley. Button hooks at the blue line, sends it in front, just missed the stick of Wieland as the Tar Heels hope to double their lead. And now a quick transition. Dakota Sexton moving forward. He'll tumble to the ice, and play continues. Chance moving forward in transition for Kramer. He's knocked off the puck. Connor Devrin in control. He steps through a couple of defenders and now advances forward down the far side. Drags it through his legs, sends it to the middle. Sticked away by Douthit. Still loose in the high slot, and it trickles all the way out into neutral ice, and we have a penalty coming on High Point. Moving forward, looking to negate it is Nodden, and he's blocked in front. A rebound is patted away by Smith, and now High Point will get control, and a hooking penalty upcoming on the Panthers. So another man advantage for the Tar Heels, their 5th of the night. And this infraction going on number 9, Connor Casivio, with 13:28 to go in the game. That is the 14th penalty called in this game. And the Tar Heels look to set up the power play. Face-off one to Beeson on the near boards. Swings it into the corner for Regan. Regan backhanded back to Beeson on the hash marks. He'll play catch with Regan again. Looks to throw it in front, deflected off a skate back behind the net. Collapsing to the corner is Oliveira to take control. Back out to the blue line. Cross ice, he's got Beeson as he gets the pass off the boards from Richard. Beeson looking things over. Drops back to the point. Cross ice for Richard. Sends it back. Skate to stick. Shot deflected off the stick of a High Point penalty killer in Jenkins, but the Panthers can't get it out. Richard, top of the near circle, throws it off the boards. Rebound comes out in front on the far side, and Beeson's denied. Oh, and that one was in the net. And the Tar Heels are going to protest, but from the angle we have down here in the corner, there is no doubt where I'm standing that Eric Smith pulled that one out of the net, and the Tar Heels are talking about it. Unfortunately, unless a linesman or an official saw it, I'm not sure that they can call this a goal, which is certainly a bad situation for the Tar Heels, and they are going to say no goal. Now, whether it just dropped off of the pad of Smith and then into the net after the whistle, I couldn't tell you, but I certainly saw him pull it out of the net. But the Tar Heels still have 1:23 left on the man advantage, 12:51 left in the game. It'll be Kramer to take the face-off. Once again, Tyler Calkins out there on the draw. He'll win it for the Panthers into the far corner. Kaufman will pin the puck there. A couple of Tar Heels there. And they'll take control. Kramer dusts it off. Creeps in front of the slot. He's got Reese who can't get the shot away. Now Gelatly on the near side. He'll throw it home. What a shot by Matt Gelatly. Picked the near corner, right where Grandma keeps the cookies. And it's 2-0 Tar Heels. First power play goal of the afternoon. And it's 2-0 UNC. So back to center ice. UNC forces it forward off the faceoff. That's Kramer pressuring. Sean Egan cross ice for Connor Devrin, who will advance down in front of the benches. Gets into the UNC zone at the top of the circle, takes a shot, and it's deflected up and out of play. And we had a faceoff in front of Will Douthit for the Panthers. 12:22 left in the third period. Just saw the power play goal from Gelatly double the Tar Heel lead. And they're starting to gain possession a little more frequently off these faceoffs. It hasn't been as clean of wins for High Point as they were earlier. Playing with it in neutral ice, Devrin turns it over, but he'll back check and knock it off the stick of Jacobs. And High Point resets. Egan throws it off the boards. Couple of Panthers there. No one can get a stick to it. And they'll shovel it deep down the far boards. Tar Heels control at the defense. Daniel Jones backhands it up the near side and out as UNC looks to move forward. Thomas can't find it in his skates. Puck poked loose. Gelatly will rip a slapper around behind his own net, just trying to change the end of the ice they're playing from. Thrown deep as they gain the blue line by Nodden. Egan comes away with it for High Point. Pass behind his intended target, stolen away and sent in by the Tar Heel offense. Nodden on the forecheck. Devrin past him. Gets around Regan as well, working up the near boards, and he'll gain the blue line and wrist one high. Wrapped around the boards, kept in on the far side. Back behind Devrin, couldn't corral it. Into the near corner it rolls. Back up to the blue line. They can't hold. Can the Panthers? Egan retreats to his own blue line with it. Sheds off a check from Regan and moves forward. Egan getting deep. Loses it in the far corner. Swept out in front by Jenkins. Nobody there for the Panthers. And it'll be thrown up into the netting from center ice by Kaufman. And a face-off in the neutral zone coming up after that one. 10:50 left in the third now. Still a 2-0 lead for UNC. Hasn't been the cleanest game on either side, but sometimes you just have to win the ugly way. And the Tar Heels have been able to get it done tonight so far. Face-off pushed forward by Reese off the draw. He'll pressure in the far corner. Lifted off the glass, and a clean breakout will give High Point a chance. Jenkins with speed down the near wing. Throws it to the center, but it's off the skate of Oliveira and deflects back out. And now Hollett tried to bank it off the far boards. Forced to retreat with it as Henry, and he'll backhand it in behind the Tar Heel net. At the defense, UNC loses control out in front, but they're able to get it back and move out. Down the near wing, Adamson at the top of the circle, slides it into the far corner. On the sideboards, Karen. Back to the point, Whelan. Whelan's pass is intercepted. Jenkins a chance moving forward. He's got one man left to beat, and Richard will force him into the far corner, where he swings it back behind. Along the sideboards, sent back behind the UNC cage again. Richard tracks it down for UNC. He'll skate it straight up the middle. Leaves it on the near side for Reese, who gains center ice and sends it in on Smith. He feels pressure coming in from Karen, and he'll melt it down for a face-off. 9:47 to go. A little bit of shoving after the play as Karen came in hot with a little too much speed, but nothing comes of that, and will remain 5-on-5. One of the officials down here talking with the High Point players on the ice. Not sure whether they wanted a penalty after that sequence or what, but either way, it'll be an offensive zone face-off for UNC. Won by High Point off the end wall, sent out in front by Kramer, who got to it. Gelatly tees one up from the high slot and finishes. What a slapper from Matt Gelatly, his second this period, and it's 3-0 UNC. It only took about 3 minutes to get that next goal for UNC, and I think what we're starting to see is High Point running out of steam. They had a tough game against Virginia Tech last night. Played them tight with the Hokies, 7-4. And I think we're seeing that wear on them now. UNC, of course, they had a tough one themselves as a hip check well executed by Jacobs will knock the puck loose. Another hit in the far corner, and UNC moves it up and out of the zone. So both these teams playing their second game in as many nights with a quick turnaround, but UNC a slightly deeper bench, and you're starting to see that. Devrin down the far wing, pressured by Gelatly. He'll work behind the net. That'll get caught up in that near corner, sent up the boards, and poked out by Kramer as this one slides all the way down behind the goal line for an icing call. On a tough break for the Tar Heels as Kramer put a little too much oomph on that clearance. And UNC is not going to be able to get a change here. Near circle face-off in front of the Tar Heels netminder Will Douthit. Ben Reedy to take the draw for the Panthers. Wins it backwards as Kramer couldn't come up with anything on that draw. And it's floated out to neutral ice. A chance to move forward. Kramer with it for the Tar Heels. Down the near wing around Devrin. Looking for someone in front. Circles to the near side, and his wrist shot knocked down by the glove of Smith. Swatted around behind by Egan, and it'll be forced up and out on the far boards by the Panthers. Sent right back in by Jacobs. And now a chance to move out for the Panthers. Quickly down into the near corner. It's Braden Hill. Swings it behind, and the centering pass covered up by Douthit, who has had a solid outing so far tonight for UNC. He is looking for his first shutout of the season. He has had a couple of one-goal games, including both contests against Duke and then the opening game of the season against Christopher Newport, but no perfect games yet for him. He is about 8 minutes away from it now. Far point, slapper ends up wide on the far side, banks off the end wall, and will be fought for in the near corner. A couple of men go down as UNC gets it out of their defensive zone, sent right back in by Kaufman. It'll be settled behind the net by the Tar Heels. Angled off the near boards. Karams out into neutral ice and swiped right back in by Cole Hollett. Oliveira retreating behind his own net. Sends it up the near side. Space to move forward for Beeson, pardon me. His pass overshoots Nodden. Ends up behind the High Point net where it can be pitchforked out by Hollett. Moving forward hesitantly, Adamson loses control. Squirts right to Thomas, who sends it in on Smith. He'll set it up for Egan. Retreats behind the net, clearance up the middle. A couple Tar Heels there to knock it down. Adamson trying to corral the bouncing puck. It bounces loose, backhand shot. Loose in the slot. Regan sweeps it towards the goal just wide. Now Karen behind the cage. Has a couple of Panthers defenders there. Karen still in control. Forks it into the far corner. Swept back around, up the glass, and Jones unable to keep the zone on the near side. It'll be out for Jenkins to chase down. In the near corner, he takes a hit, sends it to the middle. Jones there to sweep it out for the Tar Heels. And High Point has to reset. 6:50 to go in the game. A 3-0 lead for UNC, looking for their 4th straight win. Adamson centering pass off the skate. Ryan Alley, he'll backhand it up to the blue line, kept in by the UNC defense. That's Wieland. And then swept around. Pass across, deflects off a skate. Wieland keeps it on the near point, lifts it across to the far side, brought in by Jones. Has a chance to shoot off the mask of Smith, who had that post sealed. He'll shake it off, and play continues. Jones again settles down a bouncing puck on the far boards, sends it behind the net. It'll be slapped out by Kaufman all the way down. This one looks like it will not make it to the end line. So getting to it for the Tar Heels, Jones sends it up the boards in front of the benches. At the blue line, it's stalled out, and High Point turns back. Skating forward, Sexton, forcing it down the near wing. Jones on him, and he'll knock him off the puck. A little bit of extracurriculars behind the play, and now we've got a penalty coming up on High Point. Jones doing a great job staying away from it. High Point gets control, and UNC going on the power play. We'll give Jones some credit. He definitely gave a couple of shoves after the puck was gone, but once the retaliation came from Ryan Henry, he just skated away and let UNC take the man advantage. A cross-check being called on Ryan Henry. So, well, it'll be a double minor. So I did see a cross-check and a slash there going against Henry. 5:38 to go. So UNC, if they don't score, will have a man advantage until the 1:38 mark. Face-off knocked out of the zone by the Panthers to start this 4-minute power play for UNC. Now, just a little refresher for those of you who may not know. On a double minor, if the Tar Heels score in the first 2 minutes of this man advantage, that penalty will drop to 2 minutes and will continue. Of course, if they score a second time, then it would be completely wiped out. But if they score in the final 2 minutes, don't score in the first 2, the penalty does still end. 3:25 left on the man-up situation. Devrin gets it out, lifts it to the middle of the ice for a teammate, and Ryan Macheska, who finishes the job down behind the UNC net. That's where the Tar Heels will restart. Losing his footing, Richards sweeps it back to the near side. Nobody there for the Tar Heels to collect, and Egan has it for High Point. Has a teammate on the near side. It'll be moved forward by Macheska. Throws one on goal, sticked away by Douthit. The rebound's off the crossbar. Not a bad chance there for Egan, and a penalty upcoming to UNC. Charging will be the call. And there is a Panther slow to get up behind the UNC net. He does appear to be okay, though. Just a little shaken up. And we'll take a look at the guilty party, Chris Adamson, with his second infraction of the night, and that'll cancel out half of this double minor. 4:32 to go in the game. Adamson for charging. And the faceoff will be in the UNC end. One back to the far point, teeing it up, Devrin right into the breadbasket of Douthit, who will swallow it and force another faceoff. Just ran 4 seconds off that clock. And that faceoff again to the right of Douthit. Reedy to take it for High Point. One forward, though, by Kramer in transition with the speed incoming. Gelatly, backhander over the net, and a hard hit into the boards. Gelatly a little bit slow to get up, but another penalty coming on the Panthers. And that's a tough call. There was a lot of speed there and an awkward fall for Gelatly. Seemed to be kind of just an honest collision, but when you see a player going to the boards like Gelatly did there, you'll see sometimes a call like that. So a penalty for roughing, I believe was the call, goes against number 24, Egan. And it is back to the man advantage for UNC. That is the 4th penalty of the 3rd period, 5th if you count the double minor as 2, and now a timeout called by High Point with 4:17 left in this game. We'll give you a quick recap. First period, I wouldn't call it uneventful. There were some chances, but it was definitely dominated by the defenses. A couple of penalties killed off by the Tar Heels, kept it scoreless after 1. Finally, UNC broke through in the first 4 minutes and change of the 2nd period. Beautiful passing play from Oliveira to Gelatli to Jones to finish off the one-timer to take a 1-0 lead. And it was a penalty-ridden 2nd period, 11 total between the two teams, but after 40 minutes, both squads were 0 for on the man advantage, combined 0 for 10. At this point, the two teams right now, if you don't include the penalties up on the board, are 1 for 11 on the man advantage because the Tar Heels did get a power play goal about 7.5 minutes into this 3rd period. Matt Gelatli, his first of 2, picked the near top corner on Smith to double the UNC lead. And then 3 minutes later, Kramer found a loose puck in front, got it to Gelatli, who took a spinning slapper that found the net on the near side. And that's where we stand. 3-0 Tar Heels. It'll be 4-on-3 after the penalty to Egan. Again, I didn't get the exact call, whether it was roughing. Hard to call it boarding as Gelatli did hit the boards back first, but we're back underway. 4-on-3 action. It'll be lifted up and out by Devrin and all the way down. Stopped on the goal line by Douthit. He'll leave it for Kramer. Space up the middle. Sends it to the near side. Gliding forward now is Daniel Jones. Into the zone. Sends it on goal. It's deflected just wide by Regan. That was a good look. And an excellent chance there that was just wide. Beeson now in control. At the point, top of the umbrella. Cross ice now Jones. Wrist shot deflected up and into the netting. The face-off will stay on the near side. And UNC will remain on the power play. 2:05 left on that double minor to Henry. Adamson, who got the charging call a little over a minute later, still has 1:11 left on his. And then the most recent penalty to Egan, still with 1:26. So the Tar Heels will maintain the man advantage throughout. Beeson, the top of the near circle, back to the point for Richard, middle of the ice. Across for Jones. Slow movement on this power play for UNC. Jones centering pass, hits a stick, and it's cleared all the way down the ice by Tyler Calkins. And the Tar Heel power play will be forced to reset. Now they will hit a 2-man advantage, assuming they don't score here in the next 40 seconds for a short period of time. Shot from the far side boards, whistles around and all the way out. It'll be regrouped at the UNC blue line with speed. They'll move forward. Beeson stopped up in the near corner. Leaves it there for Regan, who falls to the ice. Devrin comes away with the puck, and he'll move forward. Odd man rush brewing for the Panthers. Devrin through a defender, can't take the puck with him. And it will poke loose to the middle of the ice. The Tar Heels take control. Richard to the near side for Jones. Back across, Matt Richard at his own blue line. Finds a teammate, gets a change. Beeson, that teammate, lifts it in on Smith. And a 2-man advantage for the next 10 seconds after the penalty to Adamson runs out. And UNC not going to be able to get much done with that. So the penalty over now for Egan. Still a little less than a minute left for Henry on the double minor. And the Tar Heels will move forward. 30 seconds left on the man advantage. Down the near wing, it's Karen. Shot on goal. The rebound swatted wide. Loose puck. Comes to the near side boards. Adamson gets it from Oliveira. Throws a hard angle shot off the pad of Smith. Wraps around to Oliveira again. He steps out of a check in the near corner. Forced off the puck, but he gets it behind the net, where the Tar Heels control. Reese fans on the pass to the middle. It's cleared off the helmet of Sean Egan and up into the ceiling. So with 5 seconds left on the power play for the Tar Heels, they'll have another face-off here to the left of Eric Smith. 1:43 left in this game. We've seen to trend at least at the upper levels, particularly the NHL, of pulling goaltenders, one earlier and two, with not just 2 goals behind, but a 3-goal deficit. We'll see if High Point looks to do that here in the final 2 minutes. Now that the penalty has expired, Devrin moving forward, leaves it at the blue line for nobody, and the Tar Heels take it back. They don't get much farther than the red line as Beeson's dispossessed. Loose puck on the boards, picked up by Devrin. He'll weave through a check and send it to the middle. Nobody there but a Tar Heel defender who gets it out, but not much further than the red line. Backing up with it now, Devrin for High Point. 1:15 left in the game. Tries to force it down the near boards, and it'll get stalled out and deflected up into the netting. So a face-off in the Tar Heel end, coming here with 1:11 left in the game. And barring a miraculous comeback here from High Point, this will be win number 4 in a row for UNC, their 5th in their last 6 games. In fact, a 6-0-1 record, just 1 tie, the blemish in their last 7 games. So a great start to the season continues for the Tar Heels. 1 minute left, cross ice pass to the near side finds Devrin. He'll take it into the zone himself, knocked off the puck, left there, and sent deep by the High Point defense. They'll fight for it in the far corner. Back up those far side boards, collected by Henry. He'll work behind the net. Henry circling, back up to the near point, stumbling with it. Kaufman loses the puck, and a chance coming for Gelatli, looking for the hat trick. He goes bar down. What a goal! Picks that top corner again, and Gelatli with his 3rd makes it 4-0 with 38 seconds to play. Well, a natural hat trick here in the 3rd period for Matt Gelatli. And that has helped UNC finish off High Point here this afternoon. Just 38 seconds left before we finish it up. Face-off won by UNC. Richards sends it off the boards on the far side, down to the blue line, collected by Egan, who will skate it cross ice and dump it into the near corner. Oliveira there for the Tar Heels, sends it right back up the boards, gets out into neutral ice. Egan will track it down in front of his own bench. Circles back at his blue line, has space straight through the middle of the neutral zone. Weaves through a couple of defenders, loses it to the far corner, tracks it down, sends it to the middle, deflected back to the point. Held in there by Hollett, and he'll backhand one in on Douthit, who covers up with just over 6 seconds left. One more face-off should do it here. And it'll be Connor Casivio to take the draw for High Point. Mason Regan will match him on the other side for the Tar Heels. Regan beautifully won it back into the far corner. Richard flips it behind his own net to stall out the final 5 seconds. Clock runs out, and the Tar Heels pick up their first shutout of the season with a 4-0 win over the High Point Panthers. Matt Gelatli with the natural hat trick in the 3rd period put this one away. We're going to step aside here for a moment. When we come back, we'll have our player of the game as well as assistant coach Ben Sizemore to talk to in our postgame. Final count here in Hillsboro. The UNC Tar Heels 4, the High Point Panthers 0.
I'm Mason Regan. I'm a junior on the team this year. Check out our new website, unchockey.com. We have our team schedule, roster. We have a team store set up too, and we're a 501c company, so all donations are tax deductible. Come out and see us play sometime.
Tar Heel Newsbeat reports on the local stories in our town. Everything from sushi and BLTs to the makers and volunteers who are investing in making our town a better place to live. You'll find Tar Heel Newsbeat in the streaming channels section of your Roku.
News and weather for the untethered.
From the reserves of Topo Organic Distillery in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, comes 8 Oak Whiskey, aged with the heads already removed on 8 different chars of American and French oak. Topo's 8 Oak Whiskey, limited reserves at all ABC stores.
We're back at the Orange County Sportsplex after a 4-0 victory for the Tar Heels, their first shutout win, I should say, of the season. Chris Lehman now joined by assistant coach Ben Sizemore. Ben, we discussed it a little bit after the first period. You guys were having some trouble with the breakout, getting stuck on one side. How'd you like the adjustments moving forward?
We did really well. Our forwards came back and supported our D, and that allowed us to get up the ice a little bit quicker and be more efficient with the puck, limit our turnovers, and obviously worked out.
And certainly it looked like in that third period you guys kind of wore down High Point as they ran out of energy, and you get 3 big goals from your best producer in Matt Gilatley, and they were all just picture perfect. What can you say about his performance, particularly in those final 20 minutes?
Yeah, well, he works hard. You can tell he works hard in the D zone, neutral zone, in the offensive zone, and it works out for him. He gets on the end of those opportunities, and it all comes down to his work ethic.
All right, and you have a couple of big games coming up now as you head to the tournament, the Stephen Russell Memorial Tournament next weekend. You guys are going to have some things to make adjustments on, though. We talked a little bit before jumping on air here about the penalties, a total of 8 for the Tar Heels tonight. They kill them all off, but you got to be a little bit more cleaned up, I would say, for that Stephen Russell tournament coming up.
Right, we're going to face a couple good teams down there, and they're going to make us pay if we give them too many opportunities on the penalty kill. That's why we work on it in practice, though, just so, these are college guys. They get a little hot-headed every now and again. But yeah, that's something we got to work on. And it's something we're talking about in the locker room with everybody, staying away from the needless penalties. But so hopefully that'll come next weekend.
All right, well, thanks for sticking around and talking to us after the game. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Will Douthit, the man behind the mask, who picked up his first shutout of the season in UNC's 4-0 win. Welcome back to the Orange County Sportsplex. Chris Lehman now joined by sophomore goaltender Will Douthit after the 4-0 win. And Will, you pick up your first shutout as a Tar Heel, first shutout of the season, and you really seem to have some good defense in front of you tonight. What were the big factors that led to that performance?
Well, absolutely. The defense today was the whole reason why they got 0 on the board there. I was seeing everything, and it makes my life a lot easier. So owe it all to them today, for sure.
And you're certainly getting a lot of work here early on in the season for the team. How does it help to really get a normal starting schedule to be able to stay in that rhythm?
It's exactly what's right along that. Just getting in that rhythm, staying consistent. It's a big part of being a goalie. So once I get that stride, it makes it real easy to go come in night in, night out.
Chris Lehman alongside Will Douthit of the Tar Heels after the 4-0 win. And we talked with your assistant coach, Ben Sizemore, just a minute ago. Big tournament coming up in Charlotte, the Stephen Russell Memorial Tournament. I believe it's Navy, St. Joe's, and then George Washington for you guys 3 days in a row. How do you make sure you're ready for that big tournament? And really, it's a big tournament because of that ACCHL schedule.
Absolutely. It's just sticking to the fundamentals here. I think we got a great team. Well, curious to see how we match up against these other good teams out of conference here, but it'll be fun, and I look forward to playing these teams next weekend.
All right, Will, thanks for sticking around and talking to us. Again, congratulations on that shutout, and good luck next weekend.
Thank you.
All right, that's Will Douthit of the Tar Heels. That will wrap up our coverage this afternoon of Tar Heel hockey. Final count is the Tar Heels 4, the High Point Panthers 0.